There's a famous quote that if the kings and their sons knew the peace in our hearts due to Islam, they would send their armies and their swords to fight us for it. You see, Iman has a sort of sweetness to it, and it has this effect on your heart, and it brings you true happiness. Whereas most people chase fleeting happiness and pleasure, Iman actually gives you real happiness, real joy, because you know that whatever's in store for you is greater than what you have now. And this is why the richest people and even kings would fight for it. Because no matter how much wealth you have or material possessions, that doesn't actually make sure that your heart is pure, and your heart is what matters when it comes to your happiness or your actual fulfillment in life. So you know that Iman is super important, and that sweetness and happiness that you get from it is something that you absolutely need in this life and also for Jannah, obviously. But how do you actually go about getting it? Well, what you have to understand is knowledge is one of the biggest sources of Iman. I mean, just think about the people who are the highest in Iman. The people that don't need, material things or anything like that. Immediately in your head, you think of somebody with knowledge, like a really righteous person, like scholars and those type of people. And the reason why is because knowledge has such a profound effect on you, in that it increases you in Iman, and it also has a really strong effect on your heart. It brings you that peace. And the other important thing to realize is that when you gain knowledge, your life will become better because you'll understand the solution to certain problems that you have in your life. I mean, it's pretty obvious when I say it like this, right? But if you have a problem in your life, like for example, maybe you're suffering from depression or anxiety, how are you going to get anywhere in solving that problem if you don't have the knowledge and the tools to actually solve it? So knowledge and gaining knowledge is the first step to actually improving your life and solving the problems that you have in your life. And this is not just with things of the mind or the heart like depression or anxiety. This could be with literally anything. Gaining Islamic knowledge, for example, could help you with your financial situation if you actually gain the right knowledge. For example, if you understand the importance of sadaqah, if you understand the importance of independence when it comes to, your finances and your wealth, once you understand these things and you actually apply them, then you realize that these things, these Islamic pieces of advice and all of these things that you find in the Quran are actually actionable, and they will literally help you in your life in every realm, even to the point of your finances or even to the point of the diseases of the heart. So you might be hearing this and you realize that getting knowledge is super super important. I mean, all the most righteous people are usually the most knowledgeable, but like, what do I actually do? Like, how am I supposed to go out and gain knowledge? The truth is, it does not have to be a lot. This is a big misconception. People a lot of times think they have to go to a completely different country and study and spend all that time and money and energy. Is gaining knowledge is just the effort you have to do by yourself. You don't have to go to a different country and do all of that. Of course, that's really good if you can, but of course, not everyone's going to be able to do that. All gaining knowledge has to be is spending time every day learning Quran or reading Quran or learning about hadith and memorizing and basically doing these basic things that you already know, but doing them more and trying to put an effort in learning about Islamic principles and things you find in the Quran and Sunnah. And if you can, join something like a halaqah, basically a group where people share knowledge and people give darses and stuff like that so you can learn. But the main thing I want you to understand is you don't have to do anything crazy or anything that you really can't do. I mean, it could be as simple as just reading Quran every single day, or one of the best things you could do is start memorizing the Quran. The reason why is because the Quran is the words of Allah. It's literally the best book you can ever read. So make sure you're prioritizing that, because of course it's more important than reading other books or learning other subjects. The Quran is going to be the main guiding force of your life. In fact, this was so much the case that in the times of the Salaf and the Sahaba radiallahu anhuma, it was actually a prerequisite that you needed to have the Quran memorized before you could do things like join halaqas or seek even more knowledge. An individual might want to join a halaqah where they discuss, hadiths and knowledge and stuff like that, and a person would say, well, you haven't memorized the Quran yet, so go back and come back to us when you have memorized the Quran. So memorizing the Quran is one of the most important things, and it's basically the foundation of all your knowledge, because the Quran is the most important thing. Now, of course, this doesn't mean you have to become a hafiz right away, but what I am saying is spend a little bit of time every day, even if it's just memorizing one verse. That little time you spend memorizing every single day will really, really build up, and you realize that maybe in some time from now, in months or years, you'll have learned so much and you have gained so much knowledge Islamically. Also, by that time, once you've memorized a bit of verses, gained a bit of knowledge, you'll actually kind of taste the sweetness of having knowledge, of having Iman, and that's honestly a feeling that is completely unmatched by anything else in this world. At the end of the day, seeking knowledge is going to be a lifelong pursuit. Let's say you live for 80 years, inshallah, we all have long lives, but in those 80 years, you're going to keep memorizing and reading Quran. You're not just going to stop, right? So what I want you to understand is you can take it slow, but at least just start and be consistent in terms of gaining knowledge every single day. Lastly, I want to leave you with 3 tips in gaining knowledge. The first one is having sincerity. One of the most dangerous things is gaining knowledge for a purpose other than Allah. So make sure your intention is actually clear and your intention is to do it for the sake of Allah. The next thing is that you have to work hard. At the end of the day, knowledge is not something that just comes easily, so you have to put effort in. And the third thing, take action on the knowledge that you actually gain. This means that if you learn a sunnah, if you learn a dua, if you learn like a hadith that could be beneficial to you, actually put that hadith or sunnah into practice and do it yourself. So yeah, these 3 points are key to gaining knowledge and to actually have it benefit you, especially with having the right intention and sincerity. So after watching this video, I want you to just do something in order to gain knowledge. Maybe that could be as simple as reading a hadith, trying to read a verse or memorize a verse. Do something small and start with something small. And inshallah, if you keep consistent, you'll look back in a small amount of time and you'll realize that this made such a big difference in my life. Check out this video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.